This is Oscar nominated for Best Documentary Short. So on Disney Plus, this is The Last Repair Shop. Uh, Sadly, does not have audio description. I should also point out this is technically also available on Hulu. This is one of those times where Disney decided to drop the film on both services. I did watch it on Disney Plus because typically that is where the audio description is. I would be shocked if they put it on Hulu and not on Disney Plus. That would be bizarre. Pretty much any other time that they've ever dropped a Disney Plus slash Hulu thing at like a simul drop. I don't know if that's a word. I'm making up words. Subscribe for making up words. So when they do a simul drop, I typically always watch Disney Plus for, and I have yet to find until now that there may be a potential that it would be on Hulu. So I don't know. I don't think it is. Like, for example, The Creator is on both services. It doesn't matter where you watch it, doesn't have audio description. Interestingly, it does on Spectrum Access if you can ever get the app to download it. Uh, Good luck with that. But apparently they don't want to host audio description for their own film. So The Last Repair Shop doesn't have audio description. I'm grading it anyway. I'm just going to tell you that straight up front. Blind people, yes, I advocate all the time for audio description. If you've heard me mention my real life at all, you know that I also work in music and in theater. So I work with a lot of instrumentalists. I've been in music my whole life. And this documentary hit me in a way that I didn't expect. And I'm not walking away from this with no grade. I'm not walking away from this with unwatchable. I sat there and I fully let this story wash over me, and I thought it was fantastic. Of the films that I've seen for Best Documentary Short, while I think the ABCs of book banning is an important documentary, my heart is with this film right now. So, definitely. It does everything it's supposed to. It has beautiful music throughout, as you may totally expect it to have. Just gorgeous. The score. I don't know how much of it is original versus how much of it is played. This is a film you're definitely going to want to sit through the credits. It doesn't really tell you credits are happening, but luckily Disney Plus just lets me sit through credits. Thank God. Thank God this isn't on one of those services where you're just like, get out of the credits. I was just like, oh my God, music. Oh, played so well. And I have a feeling what I didn't pick up in the audio description was the fact that the payoff is that was either alumni of the Los Angeles school district that these repairmen have been repairing instruments for, people who have gone on to play their instruments, like came back in sort of like a Mr. Holland's Opus situation, or it's current students. If it's current students, they sound fantastic. If it's people who have gone on to be professional musicians who they got to come back to play, kudos. The fact that I couldn't really tell the difference speaks volumes. This is a fantastic, just little heartfelt documentary short. Basically, it even opens up at the top. You have a kid that's sort of explaining why music matters to him, why his instruments matter to him, and it's just really sad. His life or her life, they're small. I don't know. You know, boys have it in puberty and they still sound like they could be girls. And now I'm thinking back on it and I'm like, this genderless child, I don't know, is really affected by music in their life. And as we move forward, we start talking with the people who work in this little place, just repairing school instruments for people. And they're very chill about it. And they're like, I don't care if there's a marble stuck in your instrument, fine. You know, I'll take the marble out and give it back to you. So they spend their whole time trying to fix with like no budget, you know, with very, very little budget in this There's only a couple of them, and we talk to each of them, and they explain through their stories why this is so important to them. And it's amazing how unique each one of their stories are and their reasonings for doing this. You've got one guy who uh, went on to have a massive music career of his own. He's just sitting in this repair shop. So there's like a wealth of information. You know what I'm saying? And he talks about the first time he was handed an instrument as a child and how that served him well. And he's just paying it forward. You know, he's glad to help anybody because he thinks he might be helping the next Grammy winner. Meanwhile, this guy was, you know, signed and toured and did everything he needed to do on his instrument. It's not, don't worry, it's not. Some people play for other people in bands and you wouldn't necessarily know who they are. So it's not like, you know, some major star is sitting there. No, but you can have a career in music and then retire and then do something like this is the point. And so he's sitting there repairing instruments because it's his love and he has no other. But then you have someone who is an immigrant to the country and was looking for a job, and their first job was at a music store. And sort of the stuff that they picked up from there, and now they're repairing instruments, you know, but it wasn't their story. Like, that was not, they were not a musician. They were just like, I need a job. And there was a music store that was like, well, we'll give you a trial run. And then they decided to keep her on. And then she worked there and learned more and more about, you know, how instruments work and all that stuff. And it's funny how you have two people coming at it from two completely different angles, both who have a complete love of the craft of what they're doing and understand why they're doing it and are so happy to be giving back to these kids. Those are just two of the, there's a couple of people, it's not just two people that work in the last repair shop. I just gave those two stories because they were so contrasting. And it's just, that's one of the reasons I love the film so much is it's not a whole bunch of people who just are like, oh, well, it's my love of music and I'm just philanthropic about my time and giving back to the children because I too was working in a symphony orchestra for 50 years and now I must fix the instruments for which I play. No, it's not like that for everybody. It's everybody has a different reason for being there. And it's beautiful. One guy's reason will absolutely just devastate you. I'm leaving that out. It's not even in my story. Just wait. This film is phenomenal. Most of it is just them talking. I can't even imagine. I hate to say it, like, I don't need to know where they were, like where they're sitting, like what it looks like. The only context I would like are maybe like their names. The things I'm missing from audio description would be like maybe who these people are, maybe what they look like a cursory description of what they look like, and who's playing at the end. That's it. I don't really, I mean, it might be cool to know what the actual repair shop looks like since it's the titular title, but this is obviously so much about who is in the last repair shop and not actually the repair shop itself. So it's not like they're trying to save the building, you know? They're like, oh, but this is where we fix the instruments and Los Angeles is letting the building crumble, and if the building falls, there will be no instruments. No, it's not that. It's just a beautiful documentary, and if you love music and music has ever affected you, if you've ever played an instrument before, you won't care whether or not this one has audio description. I promise you, you're just going to sit back and you're going to be like, this film absolutely, totally fucking resonates with me 100% on every single level. I loved it. I'm so happy I watched it. I wish it had audio description, and that's perhaps maybe the only qualm that I have with this film is that it's not accessible, and Disney released yet another documentary this year. I don't know what they like. Do they think, does nobody on Disney Plus watch documentaries? They have a whole Disney nature section. Like, do they think we only want to watch documentaries about monkeys and that's it? Like, they refuse to put audio description on anything that's not Disney nature. It's very disheartening to know that this is out there and does not have audio description. It has the big 20th Century Fox thing too. Probably Fox Searchlight, to be totally honest, because this is not. It doesn't need the whole big studio, but it's got the bum 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 bum, which is totally appropriate for this film. When you think about it, they're talking about fixing these instruments and these woodwinds and these brass and these string instruments and everything, and that is such an orchestral opening. It's so appropriate to open with that. I love everything about this documentary. I can't recommend it enough. I don't, to anyone, especially those who get what I'm putting down here. If you know whether or not this is for you, you already do. You didn't need me to tell you, but maybe you needed confirmation of what this documentary was about. But I don't think, if you're hearing what I'm saying, I don't think the lack of accessibility here is going to stop you. If you're that passionate about music and have never seen or heard from these people, these mysterious people that live sort of in this little corner of the world and fix these instruments for these kids, if you've ever wondered what their lives are like, man, I got some stories to tell. This is a beautiful film. I understand it's made by some people who were alumni of that very school district and basically had that same thought, like, who was that was fixing our instruments all those years? And they decided to highlight that. Gorgeous documentary. I haven't seen all the documentaries in this category, but I would have absolutely no problem with this one. Actually, honestly, with the importance of what ABC's of book banning is and has to say, I wouldn't be mad if that one either. I need to see the others. So I was hoping that my list would be easier because I've also seen what was under consideration, Last Song of Kabul. So that would have given me 3 documentaries now. Sadly, they didn't nominate that one. It's kind of disappointing. It's also about music, so maybe they didn't want 2 music documentaries. And this one is the stronger documentary, even though the other one has some stuff where it's like, I want to play music, but the Taliban's going to cut off my hands if I do it. And then you have to sit with that. And somehow you have to say that's not important, and that doesn't deserve to be in the final 5. So I don't know how they did that, because I would have had a really hard time leaving that out of my final 5 because of the subject matter of these kids wanting to play music against all odds. But somehow they didn't put that documentary in there. The other 3 documentaries here must be amazing. That's all I can say. Because the 2 that I've seen are very important documentaries. So I'm giving The Last Repair Shop an A. Kudos. No strings attached. I thought this was amazing. It does not have audio description. I don't need to hate everything that does not have audio description, and I don't need to declare everything unwatchable. This aligns too much with my personal life for me to not grade this, and for me to not be totally honest and say it washed over me emotionally. So I'd like for you to wash over me with your subscription on this channel. At least for that segue. I also have a website, macmovieguy.com. You can follow me on X or Instagram at MacMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, abp.acb.org, which will let you know what does have audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it for me today. I will watch something else and see you guys on the other side.